Welcome to Modern Home Mastermind with Bespoke Brokers. I'm Shauna Glazier, designated broker and owner.
And I'm Brittany Williamson, associate broker. Shauna and I are bespoke real estate, but we're also your guides to modern luxury across the entire state of Arizona.
Each week we chat with masterminds shaping the modern spaces. Do you want to get a behind-the-scenes look at your design build team's processes? Well, open communication and teamwork will lead you to a successful project.
From architects to builders, designers, and more, let's explore the art of modern living together.
All right. What if seeds, flowers, and bones that we often walk past in nature held hidden patterns and beauty that we never stop to notice? Today, we're joined by artist Mayme Kratz, whose work begins with those quiet act of collecting these small remnants of the natural world and transforming them into something extraordinary.
That's right. Mayme is a Phoenix-based artist known for creating luminous works that blur the line between microscopic and cosmic. Mayme's work celebrates the beauty found in overlooked fragments of the natural world. Her pieces are collected widely and can be purchased at the Lisa Seti Gallery right here in Scottsdale, Arizona. Mm-hmm. Welcome.
Welcome. We are very excited to have this conversation with you and share some of your work with our listeners.
Thank you. Thank you both. I'd like to start with a poem because poetry is a big part of my work.
I would love that.
And the title for my next exhibition is All the Light in the Dark, and it was influenced by this particular poem by Rolf Jacobson. It's so delicate, the light, and there's so little of it. The dark is huge. Just delicate needles, the light, in an endless night, and it has such a long way to go through such desolate space. So let's be gentle with it, cherish it, so it will come again in the morning, we hope.
Beautiful.
It's a favorite of mine, so yeah.
And it feels like that goes well with your art as well.
It does, because much of my work is about light, and I like to believe that part of my gift is to try to bring light into the world through my work.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing that. Well, I think we should dive into a little history and about your work, and then show some of it to our listeners as well. And you like to incorporate a lot of organic things like seeds and insect wings and bones. What first inspired you to start collecting things like this and turning it into art?
It goes back to my childhood. Mm-hmm. My mom and I would always grow a garden together, and so seeds became really important, and digging in the dirt and planting things and growing. But I grew up in a rural area, and we had a lot of pets, and we also had a lot of wildlife. We lived near a road, and so oftentimes I would find roadkill, and as a way to honor them, I would have these elaborate burial ceremonies. And a few weeks later, I would think, what if they're not really dead?
Oh, no.
So I would dig.
You were a child.
I was a child. I was like, I would dig them back up looking for the soul of things, looking for the light, looking for the next step. And so oftentimes I think that kind of investigation as a child has influenced the work I do now, because in a way the resin, I'm burying things in the resin and then I'm digging them back up. But the resin is light instead of soil.
That is so true. Like, that's such a good analogy for what you are doing. And I'm not going to lie, when I got the snake for you, I found a dead snake and froze it. I also went back to it thinking, what if it's not dead?
It was in your freezer.
Still, I was like, what if it's not dead?
Best not to put it in a translucent bag where you can see it.
Yeah.
I would like to know about the resin and the process that you go through, because it seems very technical what you're doing.
It is very technical, and it's also, sometimes it's just pure drudgery, but it's also exhausting because so many things can go wrong with the resin. It's the temperature of the day, the humidity, the wind, the dust in the air. And I don't have a room that is just designated for pouring the resin. So insects are flying around in my studio. My studio is kind of a mess. And it becomes a challenge to do the work without having something go amiss. But there's a long process of collecting the plant life, finding it at the right stage of growth or blossom, and then pressing it and drawing it and preparing it for a composition and then pouring resin. So it's a long process, and sometimes if it's not done just right, the plant life will mold and then I can't use it. So I have to babysit it and watch it and make sure that that process is working. And sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. So I can never be sure what my results are going to be. And it's the same way after I've poured the resin too. You don't always know how the resin is going to react with the plant life. Mm-hmm. So it's a long process of layering, maybe sometimes 5 or 6 layers of resin. And then after I've finished with that, there's usually a certain amount of plant life that's revealed on the surface. And I come back with a sander and I sand that plant life off so that it reveals the interior structure of whatever I'm using. Sometimes that's plant life, sometimes that's bones. Yeah.
I mean, it all seems so intentional. I'm curious, how often do you work on a piece that doesn't make it to the gallery because something flies in it or the resin is the wrong temperature? Or...
Almost never.
Oh, really?
I have to say I'm really pretty lucky. I've gotten it down to a point where and it's intuitive, if I don't sense that I'm in the right place during the day to do that resin pour and that something might happen, I don't do it. And so time of day becomes really important. I usually do it in the afternoon before I leave so that I'm not walking around stirring up dust in the studio. So it's rare that something goes wrong, but in the beginning, that's not the case. In the beginning, it was experimental, and there were a lot of disasters.
Now, your work is so... it seems so fine-tuned and intentional. Like when your art, when I stare at it, it calms me in a way. It's almost like an organized chaos because of the materials that you use. But just staring at it just brings my heart rate down. It's just so beautiful. I can't wait to share some up here. But all right. First, let's see. You talk about celebrating things that are normally overlooked or discarded. How do you feel your art changes the way people see the natural world around them?
Oh, that's been one of the greatest gifts, actually, for me, is that my work tends to have people or clients, friends, whatever, look at things differently and end up doing their own investigations. Once they've seen the work, they'll start to notice things that they hadn't noticed before. And so I'll find gifts on my doorstep from friends and clients that they found that they thought that might speak to me. And I usually take them and hide them somewhere in my studio so that I can find them, and then somehow my relationship with them is different. It's more connected. But I've been given some great gifts. A whole gray fox that someone found by the side of the road. And snakes have been delivered in the mail. Not always.
It's on ice.
Yes.
It's on ice. And it's in a plastic bag in there. You can see through it.
Shauna found a snake at a broker open.
A broker
home
open,
tour of sorts. And nobody wanted to come in the front door because of it. And she said, I have the perfect person to give it to.
Here, let's see. He's on ice, but here we go.
Oh, and he's small. That's wonderful, actually. I don't have many small snakes like that, and I need them.
Well, and also, I know her partner, Mark Ryan, really well, is a cyclist and also an architect, and I know that you've met him, but we've been riding, and he's been known to ride his bike with a little Ziploc bag, and he will pull over and bring his partner home some roadkill for art.
Yes, a gift.
A gift.
From the
She
roadside.
calls it gifts.
I love it. I love it. Can you describe for our listeners what you were telling us earlier about the Beetles?
Oh, yes. Well, sometimes Mark brings home snakes that I can't use because they're just too ripe.
Right.
But if they're fairly dry, I have a bin of flesh-eating beetles. I should know the technical name for them, but it's escaping me at the moment. And I put the snakes in there, and the beetles usually clean the bones for me. Or if it's ant season, I can put the snakes out. If they're a little fresher, I can put them out, and the ants will eat the snake skin and flesh, and then leave the bones for me. So nature has been an integral part of
The circle of life.
the
whole ecosystem.
studio life.
I think it's funny that you do refer to these things as gifts. My husband likes to go on bike rides and bring me gifts. Like one time he put a deer leg in his pocket.
Well,
Are you
that's
serious?
Yes. and then we wrapped it up in a box and gave it to our daughter as a gift, funny enough. And I'm like, well, now I know where to take the things that he brings home.
I can always use a deer leg.
Oh, that is so funny because I wasn't sure what to do with it.
They're useful.
That's funny. Oh, so many of our clients have modern homes where the architecture is very intentional, and we tend to see your work in a lot of these homes. What do you think that connection is between your art in particular and this very intentional architecture?
Well, I love this question because I'm not exactly sure how to answer it. I would love to hear what my clients say, and curious about why they bring my work into their homes. But I'd like to think my work isn't minimal, but it is distilled down into an essence, and that essence is about nature and mystery. And I think it's a way to oftentimes bring the landscape into our homes so that it's included rather than separate, and a way of, celebrating nature. So I think that's why.
And they
Yeah,
also have very good taste.
And I mean, we're talking like Tenon Studio, who have not had on the show, but we've seen your art in our Will Bruder properties, Jack DeBarlow properties, Ned Sawyer properties, Al Beetle properties. I mean, your work is the top of the top. Modern architects those clients are wanting your type of art in their home. So
I'm blessed that way.
yeah. All right. Well, enough. Let's go through some of these projects here, if you don't mind. This one is called what?
Into the Face of Stars. And it's also inspired by a poem. It's a very large piece. I think it's 60 inches high by 108. It's a diptych in two pieces. So it really was like you could walk right into it, which was, I like working that scale. It's hard sometimes because it's so heavy.
Oh, sure.
And that's another technical aspect of the work, is it's very heavy, and so physically it's a challenge at times. This series is made with poppy pods. They're very large. They're probably an opiate poppy, I would guess. And I saw them up on the bandsaw, and then they become like a meditation. The whole series started with me trying to change some blood tests that I was getting where my LDL particles were small and dense, and the doctor wanted them large and buoyant. So I thought, what can I do? What sort of meditation can I do? And I found these poppy pods. And so the first in the series were red tones and trying to change the scale of the particles. And then it kind of branched out from there, that I started looking under the microscope a little bit more. And so the tone of things changed. But I still consider them to be very healing and a meditation at the same time. And
It's
then,
like a mandala.
yes,
And
yeah.
that's interesting that this inspiration started from meditating.
Yeah. And it's not easy either, because they don't always just come together. There are days when it doesn't work at all, and I have to just walk away. So it kind of is feedback as to where you're at with yourself that day. And so some days I don't work on them.
No.
Were you able to change your blood test?
It did.
Wow.
That's amazing.
I did. This is amazing.
I love it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Our mind is a powerful thing.
So a funny story about the poppy pods. When I was riding with Mark one time, this is years ago, I knew of your work, and I knew that you used a lot of organic materials, but we had not met yet, and I certainly didn't have any of your art. And when you're riding like 20 miles an hour, you can't really hear the person next to you. Like,
Right.
So we're talking. So Mark was explaining about these things that you were working on, and I could have sworn he said coffee pods, and that you've been collecting coffee pods. And I had this Nespresso, these silver pods, and so that's what I had in my mind. And so at the end of the ride, or maybe like the next week or something, I realized he was saying poppy pods, and this is what it was. So
Very different.
coffee pods, poppy pods, very different. But these are so beautiful in person. What size is this one?
I think that one is 4 by 4 feet, I'm guessing.
So what do the pods look like?
They look
they're
just they're about this, they're fairly large, and they look like a normal poppy pod that you would find like from Shirley poppies in your garden, but they're just really huge. And kind of when you cut them up, it's like sawing up wood. They're that brackish, which is good because then they hold their form through the sawing process. This piece is called Everything That Rises After the Fire. And there's a whole series, and it's a memory from childhood. We had a forest fire come through, and it was fairly close to our house, and so we were spraying the roof of the house with a garden hose. Like, that's really going to help. But I wasn't worried about the house, or I was worried about wildlife, and I was worried about what's going to happen to, all my animal friends. And so these pieces have kind of come from that, about the idea that perhaps as things were burned, they would change into something else and rise up and become spirit.
Which is often what happens.
Yeah.
We see the landscape change after
Yes, we
fires,
do.
for sure.
Yeah. This piece is called the wolf moon. I was going to say hunter's moon. That's a different moon. A wolf moon. And my partner Mark and I will often go out backpacking and hiking. And one of our favorite places is in southern Utah, around the Bears Ears National Monument. And en route, usually on the side of the road, we'll find bones, but sometimes out in the forest. And so I'll collect those bones and bring them back and saw them up on the bandsaw. And so this piece, I love to do moon pieces. I'd love to do one every month if I could, to celebrate. But this piece is a celebration about the hunter's moon. And all kinds of bones, probably wolf, fox, horse, maybe deer bones for sure. So it's a mix of bones that I've collected over the years.
Is there some hair in there also?
Yes, there's some fur in there, but I won't mention
Where? Okay.
where.
This one is stunning. I
Yeah,
saw this one in the
thank you.
gallery. It is, and it's 4 by.
It's 4 by 4. Yeah. The Circle Dream series started with a dream years ago, where it was a very profound dream that I turned into a circle, and I was moving through the landscape as a circle, and whatever I came in contact with, I became. And so I got to experience whatever that was, if it was seed pods, if it was a tree. It was a really lovely dream, and so it stayed with me. And there's a whole series from that time called the Circle Dream series.
And are these bones?
Those are seed pods. They're actually Hesperalo seeds, which grow. We see them growing in the landscape everywhere. People hack them up and abuse them, and they come back. They're amazing plants.
Very
I
resilient.
feel so sorry for them. They get turned into a butterball like everything else. But I collect the seed pods, and then the seeds inside are that beautiful white beige color. This is the Vanishing Light series, and it came from kind of a meditation. It's what I see at night with my eyes closed before I go to sleep, and so it kind of calms me. And there's a whole series of works from that. This is a plant that I collected in southern Utah called snakeweed, and it's poisonous, and so the cattle don't eat it. So it's very prolific, and you can gather it.
I can imagine this is probably one of the harder ones to make set right in the resin.
Actually, no, it's really one of the easier ones. It dries quickly, and it stays yellow, and actually it's such a strong yellow that when you pour the resin, the color will bleed out around the resin and cause a yellow halo.
Oh.
So it's great to use. This is a series called the Eclipse series, and it's bones and plant life and roots that I've collected. I think this one is probably about 3 by 3 feet, something like that.
It's very captivating.
Thank you.
I don't know if it's going to come across to our listeners, but I mean, seeing them in person and going to the studio.
Another poppy piece, a small one. This is 12 by 12 inches.
And are organically that color?
No, I'm able to color the resin. Okay. I'm able to color the panel, to paint on the panel that I work on, and then I'm able to also add color to the resin, so I can manipulate it that way.
So have you moved on from these pods?
No, I'm right in the middle of making a big 4 by 4 piece for my next show.
Oh, good.
There's a knot series, and it started by weeding the garden. So I would collect the weeds and form them into this nest or knot shape. I found out the hard way that it's illegal to use actual birds' nests. So,
you want to tell us more about that?
well, I had a piece in a show at the Joseph Gross Gallery years ago, and there were 3 nests. One I had made out of weeds, one I found on the ground, and the other one wasn't really even much of a nest. It was just this clump of stuff I saw that I kind of turned into a nest. And a zoologist came in and identified 2 of the 3 nests as being from birds, and we had to take the piece down. But thankfully I wasn't arrested or anything. So then I started making my own nests, and so the whole series is weeds that I found, but it's kind of a way of journaling about the day or the time or the place where I found them. So it's an ongoing series.
That's interesting. Glad you didn't go to jail for
Me too.
finding nests.
Would be a great story, though.
There's a series called the Dark Garden series, and this piece comes from that. So, and it's ongoing as well. But it's that memory of being a child and laying in the landscape at dusk, basically. And you know your mom's going to call you for dinner anytime, but you just want to linger there, and you want to see, the nightfall come on and hear the sounds and the crickets. And so this is inspired by that memory.
Definitely have those memories. It seems like a lot of the things you've talked about have been kind of drawn from your childhood. Is this something that you knew you were going to do early on?
No, I didn't know early on. I knew, well, at 11 years old, I had a sense of destiny. and it carried a weight to it. And I knew that it would be a creative path because I had creative people in my family. But I was very serious about it. And so I went to bed for a week because I felt so upset and sick with this weight of destiny, and I couldn't explain it to my mom.
At 11.
At 11.
And I still didn't understand it. You know, I got past it, but I knew then that I had something I had to say. And something
Just didn't know how you were going to say it.
I didn't know
at the
how.
time.
And the small town I grew up in was very isolated, and I didn't know how I would transition from being in that environment to actually making something happen for myself. I didn't have a lot of, no one discouraged me, but I didn't have a lot of encouragement. But I do think one of the gifts of growing up in that small town and being somewhat isolated is that I never considered failure because everybody around me was doing what they wanted to do. And I thought you would just decide, you just decide what you're going to do and you move forward. And so that was the gift in all of it because I didn't have any fear of failure.
It's beautiful.
Oh, there's your little snake.
There's
that
my
I got
snake.
for you.
He doesn't have a name. We need to name him.
Bespoke.
Bespoke.
He's the besnake.
The bee snake. Thank you for sharing those with us.
Thank you.
It really is a beautiful story, and it's great just to get to know a little bit more about you and behind the scenes. And I'm just always just staring at your artwork. And every listing we go into, during these big tours, we can spot a Mayme, and we're like, oh, that's Mayme, that's Mayme. And I'm always sharing your website and your Instagram with everyone. All right, we like to do a little rapid fire.
Okay.
So some easy questions. This one I feel like you already answered in Utah, but maybe we'll just say favorite place to hike in the Arizona desert.
I would say the superstitions.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I've found some beautiful things out there and brought home several bobcats that I found that had been deceased and given them a new life. That was, but there's such great mystery in the superstitions. And it's not as hostile as everyone thinks. Once you get in there, there's beautiful areas where it's riparian and the water is plentiful, or it was. I haven't been out there in a while, but favorite place.
Do you ever sketch your ideas or do you just build them intuitively?
I never sketch them. I keep thinking I will and I want to, but I usually get so possessed with making it happen and I want to skip that step. And so I just go straight for the piece.
What's the most surprising thing you've ever found in the desert?
Oh, that's a great question.
Any human bodies?
No human bodies. No. I think it would be the bobcat that I found. I mean, not surprising, but had a huge impact on the work where I used, all of his bones in different works, and I still have some of them. So it's kind of gone on for years.
Wow.
And
Did you name him?
Bob. It was Bob. Yeah. Yeah.
What is your favorite material you've ever embedded into resin?
I would have to say chamisa, or I call it rabbit brush. There was a piece we showed earlier in the Dark Garden series where it's this fluffy, bloomy thing, and it's crazy. And containing it is practically impossible. I collect it, but the whole back of the car will be filled with these fluffs going around. And then the studio is filled with the fluffs. And they're not predictable and hard to work with, but it's one of my favorites.
All right, what's one word to describe your art?
You're throwing me a curve here. I don't know. I guess I would say just one word.
Yeah.
Mystery.
Mystery.
I like
What
it.
about you? If one word to describe her art.
Circular comes to mind, and not meaning shape. Lots of your art is in a circular shape.
Yeah.
But this circle of life, this, renewal and reusing. And
Yeah. I go with peaceful.
Those are 3 words we could use in a poem.
There.
we could. We could. Well, Mayme, thank you so much for joining us today. We are going to link all of your contact information in our show notes, but if you wouldn't mind telling our listeners the best place to find you.
The best place to find my work is at Lisa Setti Gallery, and she's in Midtown Phoenix. I'd invite you to the studio, but I'd invite everybody to the studio, but it's a big mess there, and it doubles as a cat rescue. So that it's like a farmyard.
It's where she gets her bones.
Exactly. Exactly. They just bring them to you.
No, I see the kitten.
So Lisa Setti is the best place to find the work locally.
Perfect.
And that is in the Al Beetle building, the Lisa Setti Gallery.
Yeah, it's a great spot.
Beautiful. Yeah.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Mayme. And that's it for today's episode of Modern Home Mastermind. If you've enjoyed the show, please like, subscribe, and rate.
Thanks to our guest for sharing her insights, and to you for learning about everything modern with us.
If you're ready to take the next step in your real estate journey, please reach out to us at Bespoke Real Estate. And until next time, keep living, loving everything modern.